Like the sands through an hourglass, the spring season is getting close to running out. We will bring you the great catches and the great plays that are made at the plate. Watch for those little things that we can sneak by you. Celebrate all the accomplishments as we are close to waving goodbye to another spring season. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And we're just about there. We've got a little bit left after tonight, but the spring season is starting to finally wrap up. And I guess finally isn't the right word, but it's wrapping up at this point because most teams are done except for a couple.
All teams are done. Only individuals left.
Correct.
But one very exciting accomplishment to talk about a little bit later in the show.
Yes.
For one Cardinals individual. But we're going to wait on that. We're going to start with the baseball team. The Cardinals entered section play last week, believing they were a better team than their record, and 7th seed would make it seem. The postseason gave them new life, but they had to start on the road against a really tough opponent. Second-seeded Cougars had won 4 of their previous 5 and beat the Cardinals soundly 9-0 the first time they played. They would need the offense to get going if they hoped to win in the first round. Coon Rapids trying to threaten in the first. Sam Halverson with a solid single to short left field. Gave the Cardinals 2 men on with 2 outs in the top of the first. Sophomore Mark Manders trying to keep the rally going, puts a good swing on it and sends it to left, but Danny Howell makes a great play to end the inning, keep the Cardinals off the board. Runs were at a premium in this one. Bottom of the first, Sanders Street with a high fly down the line to left, and the wind carries it over the short fence. 2-run home run ends up being the only scoring in the contest. 2 pitchers took over after that. Jack Vlacity was impressive. He retired the next 15 batters he faced. He allowed just 1 more base runner the rest of the way, going 6 innings with just 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, and no walks. At one point, Vlacity struck out 5 straight Centennial batters, giving the Cardinals every chance he could to get on the board and make it a game. Unfortunately, his counterpart for the Cougars was matching him pitch for hit pitch. Hunter Belting kept the Cardinals off balance most of the game, chalking up 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. The Cardinals had men on base in each of the first 5 innings. The first inning was probably their greatest threat. Centennial sends the Cardinals to the second chance bracket with a 2-0 loss in the opening round.
And, I mean, it was a fun game to be a part of because outside of that home run that Jack gave up, he was dealing. He was the better pitcher that evening.
I agree.
But Belting pitched well. It was just unfortunate. They did have some chances in that game, but couldn't get over that hump and didn't get a run scored. And, of course, then pushing them to their first loss.
2 pretty impressive pitchers, and if you enjoy a good pitching matchup, that one is worth re-queuing and watching again because both of those guys were pretty impressive on the hill. Meant a long trip for the Cardinals. Their longest road trip of the season went up to Duluth East on Thursday, but they came away with a win. They were staked to an 8-run lead, thanks in part to 3 hit batters, 3 walks, and an error in the first inning, but they also had 4 hits in that inning, scored 8 runs, held on for a 10-7 win. Andrew Racine picking up the win in 3 2/3 innings. That was a fun one and a great moment for the Cardinal team. They've had so many down times throughout this season. To have a high like that, to come home on that long bus ride with all your buddies is fantastic and made it a lot easier for those of us who traveled to see the game to have a little bit better ride home as well.
Yeah, I know. You had texted me earlier that all of a sudden it's 8-0 in the first inning, and granted, you'll take runs any way you can get them, whether it's by walks or hit batters, or it doesn't matter how you score them as long as you score them. But they had to hold on to get that win, though.
They did.
Well, the Cardinals were hoping they could build some momentum off that win as they continued on in the second chance bracket. On Saturday, they were at Castle Field in Anoka taking on crosstown rival Blaine. The Bengals were the 4th seed and slipped past Anoka in the first round before losing to top seed at Andover. Both teams would be battling hard to keep their hopes alive. No score until the top of the 5th. Ian Wynn, with bases loaded and 1 out, slaps it into short left field. Manos will score as everybody will move up a base. But Wynn was just 1 for 3 with a walk, but that hit sparks the Cardinals' offense. Jared Fearing at the dish next. He fires it over the pitcher and out into center field. Everybody advances 90 feet. Lucas LeBrant's going to score, and the Cards are up by 2. But they were not done. Coming up here, Sam Halverson's going to load on a 1-0 pitch. And on a windier day, it may be a dinger, but it's deep to the left, to the corner and left 2 more runs will come across on a double for Halverson, and it's 4-0 Coon Rapids. That was more than enough for Jack Vlacity. Cardinals captain had all his pitches working against the Bengals. He pitched 6 scoreless innings, giving up 4 hits with 8 strikeouts and just 2 walks. Blaine loaded the bases with nobody out in the 5th, but Vlacity got back-to-back strikeouts, then the grounder to short. Nice play by Manders. So you're going to see coming up here on that slow roller. Makes the nice throw across the diamond to get the out. Jack pitched 12 innings against Blaine this season without giving up an earned run. Well, the Bengals, they're going to load the bases again in the 7th, but Zach White with a beautiful bender to freeze Beckman for the final out. The Cardinals advance with a 4-0 win.
Well, the Cardinals were back at Castle Field on Monday afternoon, one of just 4 teams left standing in Section 7. They would need 4 wins to get to claim the championship. They were focused on the first opponent, a rematch against Centennial. Cardinals get out of the board first, bases loaded with 1 out. Lucas LeBrant grounds it to the right side. Centennial's second baseman makes the play deep in the hole, but Mark Manders will cross the plate for the first run of the game. Cougars took the lead with runs in the 2nd and 3rd, but Coon Rapids evens the score in the top of the 4th. Patrick Wright with a high hopper to 3rd. Throw is wide at first. He's safe, and Manos scores easily to make it 2-all. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. Centennial answers in the home half. Xander Street's 2-run double to the fence in left field was part of a 3-run inning for the Cougars, and they never looked back. You may remember Xander Street is the one who had the 2-run home run in the opening round of the tournament. And then the Cougars piled it on in the 6th inning. Mark Manders' first pitch out of the pen, drilled to right. Jake Slipka was 4 for 4 in the ballgame for Centennial, including this walk-off grand slam. An 8-run outburst in the 6th inning ends the game early, ends the Cardinals' season with a 13-2 loss.
Yeah, they played Centennial close in the beginning, and then obviously the Cougars did a really nice job of breaking the game open. They hit the ball well. I think they had, I want to say 13 hits, something like that. And so, unfortunately, the Cardinals just couldn't get anything going. After they scored that 2nd run, offensively, they just couldn't get anything. Well, and they had their chances as well.
And Centennial went back to belting
yes, they did.
Out of the bullpen. And in any double elimination tournament, it becomes a war of attrition. Cardinals bullpen just not up to the task. And even if had they been up to the task to get past Centennial, then you would have had to turn around right around and face Forest Lake. And that did not go very well for the Cougars. They got run out of the building. I'm not sure if that one ended early or not, but lost 15-4 to the Rangers. The Rangers, the 3rd seed, did not give up a run in either of the first 2 games of this tournament. Lost a 4-3 game to Andover, but now they're in a position where Andover, they're playing this afternoon and maybe this evening. Andover, they would have to beat Andover twice, or Andover will be representing Section 7 in this tournament.
Forest Lake's a pretty good ball club. That's a tough task to beat the Huskies twice. They're pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Well, the softball team had a little better seeding than the baseball squad, but in this section, there's no easy draw. The Cardinals were the 5th seed in the tournament and opened the double elimination bracket, traveling to take on Anoka. The Tornadoes destroyed the Cardinals 12-2 in their only meeting this season, and one of 3 straight to finish the regular season. Top of the 1st, Anoka gets a big defensive play to end a threat. 2 outs and a runner at 2nd. Jaden Gale with a line shot to left center, but Madeline Spot dives, you saw there, to make the catch for the out. Tornadoes start the scoring in the home half. Bree Thies, with bases loaded and 2 outs. She bloops it to short center field and a chance for catch. 2 runs, no chance for a catch. 2 runs are going to score. 3-run lead after the 1st. Spa had a web gem in the 1st, and she provides a big stick in the 2nd. Spa drives this one deep to left center over the head of Hewlin. Sid Kress will score all the way from 1st. Spa isn't standing with an RBI triple. Anoka adds 4 in the 2nd for a 7-0 lead. Cardinals are going to get one back in the top of the 3rd. Bases loaded for Jadan Gale with a line drive to left. Grace Graham will cross the plate. They avoid the shutout, but that's all the closest they would get. Emily Dukowitz hammers the first pitch she sees in the bottom of the 4th. That brings 2 more Anoka runners to the plate, pushes their lead to 10-1. They're able to walk off in the bottom of the 5th with an 11-1 win over the Cardinals. Pretty good hitting ball club as well.
Yeah, and the struggles have been quite different for softball. Not as many struggles as it was on the baseball diamond, but against a couple of teams, they just haven't had the answer for throughout the season this year. They too got Duluth in the first game in the consolation bracket, and they get a 5-1 win over Duluth. Abby Ness got the win, gave up just 1 run in 6 innings, and they're able to advance. Numala had 3 stolen bases with 2 for 2 with a double and a walk. 3 stolen bases. And they, after the win, they went up against the number 2 seeded Blaine Bengals, and unfortunately, their season also ended with a shortened game, a 12-1 loss at the hands of the Blaine Bengals. Only a handful of hits for the Cardinals. Ryan Mellum doing everything she can, 1 for 1 with a double, a walk, and an RBI. Numala was also 1 for 1 with a walk, a couple of stolen bases, but just not able to push enough across. Becca Masteller ends up giving up, or the one charged with the loss. Take a quick look at those brackets as well. There you see Andover is awaiting as the last undefeated team in that bracket as well. And look who's right behind them. Forest Lake. Different numbers, different seating numbers, but same positions. Blaine and Anoka fighting for the chance to play Forest Lake. Well, the tennis team had its individual sections last week. We'll start by looking at the doubles teams. The 2 doubles teams were Henry Staples and Vinny Schnabel, who opened with a 7-5, 6-0 loss, or 7-5, 6-0 win over Forest Lake. But then they faced the number 1 seed from Duluth East and lost 1-6, 0-6. A lower seed for Yang and Avery, but they played well, and they proved they were not deserving of a 22 seed. They beat the 11 seed from Duluth East in 3. They beat the 6 seed from Anoka in 3 before losing to the 3rd seed from Forest Lake 1-6, 1-6. On the singles side, Surprise Taylor was the 23rd seed, and he was eliminated in the first round by a young man from St. Francis, 4-6, 2-6. Sam Murillo, the number 1 seed in the tournament, and he proved why. 6-0, 6-4 win in the opening round. 6-1, 6-0 win against Krekow from Forest Lake. A 6-1, 6-2 win over at Nelson from Elk River. But in the championship, he loses to number 3 seed Brown from Elk River, 2-6, 3-6. However, 2 go to the state tournament out of the section. So Sam Murillo will be representing the Cardinals at state down at Prior Lake on Thursday morning. We will try and get a camera there.
Be nice if we could.
I'm being told it will happen. He is the first male Cardinal individual to make a state tournament appearance since 2002.
It's amazing.
So almost 20 years.
I mean, he was deserving of that number 1 seed. I think that was only his 5th or 6th loss of the year, and so for him to be really dominant in those first 3 matches and then go against the number 3 and really didn't have, I know, the match probably he wanted. He's got a taste of revenge in his mind, but great job making it to state.
Well, and you're talking about, after a sophomore, after missing his freshman year, playing that well.
Amazing.
At the top of the rankings, and definitely best of luck to Sam Murillo on Thursday at state. We'll have those results next time on Sportsnight. Track team did have one final tune-up. They had the District 11 relays, more to just get everybody ready for section tournament. It is Wednesday through Friday this week in Mounds View. The state tournament will be held in St. Thomas, at St. Michael Albertville, coming up toward the end of next week. Boys golf team at sections. Fortunate for Coon Rapids squads, they get to be the hosts. And the Cardinals placed well. 351, gave them a 9th place finish. That's their best round of the season. Nathan Clark shot an 87, qualified for the second round, and was able to shoot an 84, one of his better rounds of the season. DeVries also shot an 87 in that first round, but lost in a shootout and was not able to get to Thursday's second round. An 88 by Himley, an 89 by King. Klinzing shot a 95, and Robertstad had a 96. On the girls' side, three girls qualified for the second round, and a fourth lost in a playoff hole to get to that second day. So a great way to finish for both of our Coon Rapids golf teams. Kylie Wilson shot a 97 on day one, a 101 in the second round. Kate Garbo was 98 and 100. Emily Verbeek a 103 and then a 116. Godis, again, she shot a 104, lost in a playoff hole to get to the second round. Severson finished her season with a 116, and Defoe had a 117. So, we always talk about it. Success as far as wins and losses doesn't always look good, but if a team improves from start to finish, that's the true mark of success. And it's great to see both of the golf teams having that type of success and shooting their lowest scores at the end of the year.
We love to see it, and that 84 by Clark, that's a nice round, obviously, and so congratulations to both the boys and girls golf teams. They did a really nice job, as you mentioned, and especially three of those girls getting into the second round was
Very
great.
Cool. Boys lacrosse team, both lacrosse teams had section tournaments last week. And both Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids and the Coon Rapids girls were hosts in the first round, and both were hosting Grand Rapids. On the boys' side, they win 13-6. Blake Luke had 7 goals and an assist. Owen Spencer had a hat trick and 3 helpers. Henry Leff had 1 of each, as did Long, and Zeman added a goal as well. Unfortunately, when you're the 8-9, that means in the quarterfinals you face number 1. And it could be worse than 19-6. They were able to put 6 in against Centennial. I'm pretty sure that's more than they scored the first time around. Blake Luke had 3 goals, Owen Spencer a goal and an assist. Packard Rao and Jeebly also scored for the Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids squad. And Centennial upset in round number 2 by Chisago Lakes, a 12-11 score. Chisago will take on Blaine, the number 2 seed, who just barely slipped past Duluth 9-7 after getting the better of Andover 14-6 in the first round.
That's an unfortunate loss for Centennial. Obviously, they had a really good season, but hey, on any given day, you have an opportunity to beat. Even if you're the lower seed, you have an opportunity to win, and it was proven there that the 4 beat the 1.
100% correct. Love playoffs.
Me too.
Well, the girls lacrosse team also earned an 8th seed and a home game to start the section, and they would also, as I already mentioned, host the team from Grand Rapids. Greenway, the girls teams combined, they are the Lightning. They're a little better than 500, but limped into the tournament, having lost 4 of their previous 5. Top-seeded Champlain Park Rebels were waiting for the winner of a game that would need extra time to decide. Senior captain Rowan Tom entering the game with 97 career goals, hoping to lead her team into the quarterfinals. She takes charge early. Great job working her way out front of the net, firing it past the keeper. Number 98 tied the game at a goal apiece. Unfortunately, Tom goes down with an injury less than 5 minutes into the first. She tore a ligament in the knee on that play. A huge blow to the Cardinals and to Tom. Could miss her whole freshman season in college. Her absence made it much closer. Lightning threatening. Carolyn Akin gets close, but Hannah Stadoka makes the save. Midway through the first, Annette Abbott with a free position. Leaves no doubt that put the Cardinals up 3-2. But every time the home team got ahead, visitors found a way to answer. Cameron Kleinfelter able to wiggle her way out front and score. Game was tied at 4 at the half. It was the Cardinals answering in the second. Kenny Bolander on the free position sneaks one through the legs just across the line to make it tied at 5. Cardinals trailing late in the half. Casey Beck gets out front. Her shot is off the post. A scramble on the ground. The ball sneaks across the line again. A 6-6 score sends this to instant victory overtime. In the extra section, Akin on the free position, firing past Dolka to give Grand Rapids Greenway the win and end the Cardinals season.
Tough way to go out, Joe, and really feel badly for Rowan Tom. Obviously getting hurt early on, and as you mentioned, possibility of maybe missing that freshman season. But had she been in the lineup, does that give him the advantage? You don't know.
Oh, 100%.
But I would think so.
100%.
I would think so. It's just an unfortunate situation.
She's their leading scorer, and
Yep.
she and Kennedy Bolander were great scoring leaders. It was great to see some of the depth players starting to score a little bit more later in the season. That's going to be important. Bolander will be back, but Tom moves on and will play college. And the word I hear is that it's the opposite knee from the one she had heard previously.
Tough.
She was on crutches at graduation. It did not slow her down.
We're praying for a quick recovery.
So absolutely, and it was tough to see her on crutches, and then tough to watch the injury. But wishing her the best, and hopefully she can bounce back and have a successful college career as well. Great way to end her. Would have liked to have seen it end differently with the career that she had had.
Oh, absolutely.
98 goals.
Absolutely.
So
close
to get to the century mark. Take a quick look at the brackets for the girls lacrosse. In that one, the number 1 seed is holding strong. Champlain Park just barely over Forest Lake. Almost gave up that upset, but 2 really close games in the semifinals. Andover 16-14 over Centennial. So top 4 seeds advance to the semis. Top 2 are in the finals.
Should be a good one.
The way the prognosticators had...
They figured it out.
They had predicted it would go. But that is it for this edition of CTN Sports Night. We're going to have another Sports Night to wrap up. Best of luck to Sam Murillo at State and all the Cardinal athletes participating in section tournaments this week. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.